So, what if you are ugly? Legit, what if you are ugly? If being ugly is the worst thing that ever happens to you, that is really not that bad. In the age of social media, because I mean, that is my job. That is my job. And I have new hair. I got a haircut because I wanted to try something different. And I'll speak more about later about why I've changed my appearance a little bit drastically. And basically, it was a response to essay because whenever you've been essayed, it's hard to look in the mirror at the person who is essayed and not think they're nasty. It's hard to look at myself in the mirror and not find myself dirty, so I want to change my hair. And the day that I posted my hair, I lost 1,000 followers on each platform. And in the moment, that sucked because, again, I could sit online and say I don't care what people think about me, but caring what people think about me is quite literally my job. And so, to an extent, but sitting here this morning, because for the past week and a half, it's been eating me alive. Not my hair, but the whole essay thing, and then also people online calling me ugly, calling me a boy, all these things in my comments, or like DMing me and be like, you were so much prettier before. And what if I was? I think that we forget that our existence is, we're not existing to be beautiful. We're beautiful because we're existing. And it breaks my heart that there are legitimately people that harm themselves because they feel ugly. And I used to be one of those people. Growing up, was never someone that felt pretty enough. I was always compared to my older sister who was gorgeous, and she's still gorgeous. And so, since I wasn't the pretty one, I felt as though I always had to compensate for my presence with, I either had to be funny enough, or I had to be intelligent enough, or I had to be talented enough to be wanted. But now, being on the other side, and I don't think that I'm gorgeous by any means, but I think that I'm not ugly. Being wanted in a room just because you're pretty, but nobody caring about the words that comes out of your mouth, I think that's just equally as bad. Because I think that people don't look at you and see a human, no matter what. And I think that's the thing that we're missing, is people forget that the beauty is in humanity. You're not beautiful because you spent $10,000 to get a perfect nose, and you're not beautiful because you lost weight, or you gained weight, or you have the best body, or you can sing the best. Like, these are all the things about you. Like, bro, if you have a great body, slay. If you worked for that thing, slay. I'm proud of you. But that's not where your worth is supposed to come from. And especially in the age of social media, where people are rewarded for being pretty. People are rewarded for looking the way that other people want to look, and that's why, they're followed. And that breaks my heart because I know, I have a little sister and she's 11, and I just think about her and all of her friends, and my little sister has made comments about her weight since she was 6 years old, because that's how young she saw it online. She would call herself fat, and she's not at all. That girl is not fat. And because I grew up overweight, and so if it was getting to that point, I would probably just lead her in the right direction to make sure that she never got to the point that I was at. Because I was overweight because I was struggling with binge eating as a child, just as trauma responses. And so, but also, beauty is so subjective. I think that I find beauty in people's character. Of course, I have my best friends, y'all, and my best friends are stunning. My best friends are literally stunning. I find them all far more beautiful than I am. But it's because I love their character. I love their character more than I love mine. And that's not me trying to be humble or selfless or anything, but it's that I finally stopped placing so much worth and value in my appearance, what I look like, what I want to look like. Do people find me pretty? I don't care if people find me pretty. I really don't. Because I have come to the realization that I value my platonic friendships more than I will ever value a romantic one, and I'll get into that in a moment. But also, if people can't look at you and want you because of your appearance, that's concerning on their character. That's not a reflection of yours. And so I think that our strive as a society to be so perfect is erasing us. I made a video on TikTok about it this morning, but the pursuit of, because if you look at it, everybody who's getting plastic surgery looks the same. This is not me bashing plastic surgery or any work. You guys know I got lip filler in my top lip exactly a year ago today, actually. It's almost like dissolved now, though. And I won't be getting it again. Not because I don't agree with it, but just because I don't really feel like spending all that money on something that doesn't really benefit me. It makes me, I don't know, it makes me feel a little bit better about myself, but why does it do that? Why does it make me feel better about myself? And it makes me feel better about myself because I know that people can't talk about that. People can't tell me or like comment, your lips are so thin. And so I don't care anymore though. I don't care that I have a boy haircut. I don't care that I don't have great lips. I don't care that I have a double chin on one side when I talk. And I know that me voicing that makes it seem like I do care, but it's that, why would I even care? Why would I care? I could choose to sit here and focus on things that are so fruitful. I could sit here and choose to focus on my friends, or I could I could sit here and try to focus on creating something or learning more about something or about someone. But I think that our issue is that we spend so much time trying to learn about ourselves when it's not actually learning about ourselves. It's picking ourselves apart. It's analyzing ourselves to death. We are analyzing ourselves to death. I don't think that we were ever supposed to sit here and look at ourselves this much. And I think that's beautiful because that made me realize that I'm not supposed to be finding the beauty in myself. I'm supposed to be finding it in other things and other people. So that's why I started sitting here and like, I'm surrounded by beautiful things, so that must mean that I'm beautiful. Just because I don't feel like I am, evidence all around me shows beauty everywhere, and so how could something that's in the midst of beauty not be beautiful as well? And even like, say a landfill or a recycling bin, there are beautiful things in there all the time. Just because those things are there doesn't mean they're not valuable. Sometimes people just don't find the worth in them, so they place them there. And so going back to SA, I've been SA'd a few times. The first time was when I was 6 years old by my female childhood best friend. And I just want to say that you can be SA'd by any gender, okay? She made me take my clothes off, did things to me, and then I thought that's what friends did. Like, after that, I didn't want friends anymore because I thought that's what friends did, and so I didn't really have a lot of female friends growing up. That always made me an outcast because people thought I was odd, but I was scared of women. And then my first boyfriend also essayed me in my sleep, and as you guys know, that's why I struggle with really bad insomnia now. Like, ever since that, I've struggled with insomnia. I have to take medicine pretty much every day for it, and I'm not angry at those people at all. But I have been in a relationship since that, and they've also touched me, and I don't know why. And so after every relationship, you will see that I change my appearance. And it's not because I'm in my villain era, but it's because I'm trying to change the version of me that was touched. And I realized that the day that I got my hair cut, and he looked at me like I wasn't his girlfriend. And I realized that I have been trying to erase the versions of me that have been hurt, because in my brain it was that I couldn't be hurt if I didn't look like her. And that's just not true, because every time I've been SA'd, I've been wearing oversized clothing. The first time I was SA'd was, I'm sure that like young 2000s kids will know, the plaid shorts. I was wearing those plaid shorts, and they were the ones to the knee. They were not like the 4-inch inseam. They were the ones to the knee with like the matching colored shirt, whatever. I'm pretty sure my hair was in pigtails. I have a picture of me that day, actually. And then the second time, I was taking a nap. I was in oversized clothing because that was when I was struggling with binge eating and I didn't like my body. And then this past time that I was touched again, I always wore oversized clothing around him because I didn't want to be lusted over. And I know that people can comment on this and be like, well, you post gym content, you post yourself in gym clothing. Yes, I do. But I have yet to feel convicted about that. I do that because I was once at a place where I almost passed away because I hated myself so much and I starved myself to the point of being put in a hospital or being taken to the ER. Because I wanted to be gone so badly. I wanted to disappear and be so small that people couldn't see me as a burden if I didn't take up space. And so now that I am proud of taking up space, yes, I am proud of my body. I work really hard and I will never be ashamed of that. And I will never let somebody sit here and tell me that I'm a sinner for showing that. After this past relationship, I've been catcalled the most on the streets when I'm in a baggy t-shirt. As you can see right now, baggy t-shirt. I'm always in a baggy t-shirt. And I had sweats on. And I was catcalled because of my hair. That was when I had the bob. And I think that it was subconsciously a pursuit to be less desirable. Maybe I did get this haircut because I don't want people to find me attractive. And even if that is the case, the people that love me will never sit here and tell me that I'm ugly. Ever. And that's okay. I know that Jesus would have never looked at me in that car and made me feel that way. And so, all of that to say, even if you are ugly, is that the worst that can happen to you? Because I remember in that moment thinking, oh my gosh, I'm chopped. And like I had a meltdown because I really sat here and I was like, this is awful. It's not awful. Do you know how blessed I am to even be able to get a haircut, much less a haircut of my choosing? But also the fact that like that's our biggest concern is so sad. Like I feel as if we could be so progressively ahead if we just stopped looking at other people the way we look at ourselves. Because I think that we are all so insecure that we automatically look at other people and point out what we would be insecure about if we were them. When really we could just be building them up. And we can do that. We're just not there yet. And that's okay. This isn't some let's change the world video. This is just a video that if being ugly is the worst thing to happen to you, because I used to be left out. I used to be left by my friends because I would be around them and they would literally tell me that if I was with them, men wouldn't come up to them. So I would be left. I, as a child, was fat shamed by my friends. I was the one that couldn't fit any clothes because I was always bigger than them. Like, I was there. And ever since then, I've always felt ugly. But also, what even is ugly? Because that's such a disgusting word. That's an ugly word. I don't think I ever look at people and ever look at them as ugly. Because someone's heart is so much more important. And I know that, yes, pretty privilege is such a real thing. Trust me. When I was platinum blonde, I was treated the best I've ever been treated by strangers. Ever. And then as soon as I dyed it brown, or as soon as I dyed it back to my natural hair color before dyeing it black, I remember people being like, oh my gosh, you were so much prettier before, you need to go back. And I was like, no. Because why do I need to fit what you think I need to look like for you to be kind to me? That's a reflection of your character, not mine. But all that to say, you're not ugly. I don't care what you think about yourself. You're not ugly. I really don't care. I know you're probably like, Alexis, you're on here and you're like, of course, like the pretty girl is saying, I don't find myself pretty. I have meltdowns every single day because I am disgusted with myself. Once you're essayed, it's really hard to not look at yourself in the mirror and see that dirty person. It's really hard to not look at myself and see where that person has touched me even though I told them I didn't want to be touched. It's really hard to not look at yourself and be like, do I look like I want you to touch me? And I know I'm not dirty because I've been reconciled in Christ, but that's how I feel. So maybe I don't feel ugly, but I feel dirty and unwanted and used. But just because I feel that way doesn't mean it's true. But in the pursuit of enhancing who I am, I will not erase myself. And I think that's the biggest thing. I will never erase who I am because I'm afraid of embracing my humanity. Maybe I did make a bad choice with a haircut. Bro, that's so minor. It's a haircut. It's a haircut. But it's all okay. It's all okay. You're going to be okay. You're not ugly. This isn't me trying to preach at you, but this is just me giving you some big sister advice that I wish somebody gave me. Because don't you dare let somebody ruin your day because they don't find you attractive. That's a good thing. You don't want that kind of person to find you attractive if that's who they are. So let people reveal their character to you. Because they will. But I love you so much and I hope you have a great day. Bye.